those playing along at home, Chris and I have been chatting for quite some time before we get stuck into this interview, but we are here with Chris from Vanishing Point. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you. We've known each other for a bit now, and so we're sort of catching up on some old things there. But we are here ostensibly.
2 hours of it.
Yeah, that's 2 hours there chatting away. It is all recorded. I'll see what I can use of it. But we're here because starting this, Thursday night? Is it Thursday? Yeah, this Thursday. You're on tour for the first time in, how many years now?
Oh, it's about 4 or 5 years, man. Yeah, easy 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, last time we played shows was back in 2018. We supported Rhapsody in Sydney and Melbourne. That was the last shows we had done. And we didn't have Silvio with us at that time because he was in hospital at the time. So we had a guy called Callum filling in. But, yeah, man, it's been a while. It's 4 years. It's been a while. So looking forward to getting back out there.
I bet you are. And this is all in support. This is all in support of your cracking album, Dead Elysium, from back in 2020 now. If you haven't heard that album, please unfuck that. People, go and check it out. It's a brilliant, one of the best albums of that year. But you are playing May 19 at Suki Lounge, May 20 at Stay Gold. These are both in Melbourne or Victoria, I should say, because Suki Lounge is in Belgrave. May 21, Enigma Bar in Adelaide. Then you've got May 28, The Bright Side in Brisbane. June 3, The Basement in Canberra. Then June 4, Crowbar in Sydney. So you've jammed a few things.
I'm glad you got the paperwork in front of you, because if you're going to ask me what dates were, I would have just gone, oh, fuck, I don't know. I know we're going there.
It helps to have that little bit of information there, I reckon. So. But you are just about to launch this tour. So, yeah, I guess, what are you looking forward to, and how are you feeling about getting back out on the road after so long?
Feeling good. Pretty pumped to get out there. Looking forward to seeing all our friends and fans, more or less. It's been a long time. And, as you said, Dead Elysium we released in August 2020. So, it's like it's a weird type of situation, whereas we feel like we're doing a tribute to the album, you know what I mean? Because it's like so long after it was released. But we're really looking forward to getting out there and seeing all friends and fans and playing with the bands. I mean, after 2 years of pandemic lockdown, we're just stoked to get out there. So whether there's 10 people, 100 people, 200, 200,000, I don't care. We're going to play. We're just hanging to get out there. It's going to be good fun.
And for the record, if you haven't got tickets yet and you get a chance to go and see them, because they headlined one of our extravaganzas a couple of years ago, and it was a fucking phenomenal show. So don't miss the chance to see them, because it doesn't happen all that often. So, yeah, please go and get out to any of those gigs.
Now you're putting me under pressure, man. I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, I better play a good gig.
I have full faith in you and your cohorts to be able to do it.
Thank you,
brother. But on that, even as we were talking before, you've had to go through a bit of a change with regard to supports and all sort of stuff, because of the curse that is COVID doing the rounds in the music scene at the moment. So I don't know what you can and can't remember across all the different dates and stuff, but just walk us through who you can remember off the top of your head about the support bands you've got with you on these dates.
So, okay, yeah, sure. So basically, originally Black Magic said we're going to do the first 2 shows with us in Melbourne for the Suki Bar, Suki Lounge in Belgrave, and Stay Gold in Brunswick in Melbourne. Unfortunately, Geo's come down with COVID. He can't do it, and as a result, because they were all rehearsing together as well, they've all had to self-isolate for 7 days, which blows out the timetable. I got a call from Henny yesterday morning around about 7:30 in the morning saying, bro, we can't do it. Geo's sick with COVID. He's just got the test back. He's sick. He's not good. I spoke to Henny and Geo, via text message today, just to let them know, hey, everything's okay. First and foremost, make sure you guys are right. Everybody out there is wishing them a speedy recovery. It is what it is. You know what I mean? These things are to be expected, I suppose, in the climate. So we will catch up with them in the future and do some shows together.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. But in the meantime, so one of the bands that was going to open up on Friday night, Carthus, we've got them opening up on the Thursday night, and we put Ironstone up the bill.
Yep.
The direct support to us. Cool. And then on the Friday night show, we've got Carthus opening up, and we've got Stevie and the guys from Wicked Smile playing with us. So we're actually stoked to have them on board as well, because I really wanted to play with the Wicked Smile a long time ago as well. and their stuff sounds phenomenal. So,
It does.
I'm going to be probably not only playing the gig, but tour managing, but also probably fanboying on the side because I reckon they sound great. So, yeah. So, with that being said, it's sad that Black Majesty can't make it.
Yeah.
At the same time, we will make it up with them to the friends and fans in the future. But it's good to have Wicked Smile on the bill with us. And man, and they're quick. Like I rang the guys yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a good thing after all these years we still have each other's phone numbers.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go through managers and all this bullshit. It's like, hey man, what are you doing Friday night? Oh, what's going on? Want to play a gig? I'll get in touch with the guys, and within like 20 minutes, it's like, yeah, we'll do the gig. Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah,
a fair replacement.
Very good, actually.
it's a pretty good replacement to get that because their album and EP from last year and I think the year before, they're both fucking phenomenal. So they're absolutely awesome stuff. I mean, Stevie always puts out good stuff anyway, so it's not a huge shock. But that all-round, all-star cast and that band is going to be a very good fill-in spot for Black Majesty anyway. So it all worked out well.
Yeah, no, we're wrapped to have them on. I mean, Wicked Smile guys, and I mean Stevie particularly as well, with the team he's got there, they know how to craft a song, and we believe that we do so as well. So it's good to have a band, with us like Black Majesty as well, but especially with the Wicked Smile, who have really catchy songs, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them because over the pandemic I didn't get a chance to see them, so I'm keen.
Just walk us through, because you are managing this tour as well as playing on it and doing all this stuff as well. So you're a very busy man when it comes to this thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's hard in the current climate to get these things right. Just how challenging has it been to put this together? Because you've had this basically in the works since the album in 2020, and you had to push it out, and you're finally here. And how much work has it been to get to this point?
It's been a lot of work, but also a lot of liaising with people like Bailey and the guys from Destroyer Alliance, the booking agent. So they put a lot of it together, and then there's the to and fro, like, yeah, this is cool, let's do this. These days don't work, or this is just too unattainable. Because unfortunately, with Australia, like we've had this tyranny of distance between cities. There's a lot of space, and sometimes we can't get to certain places. Like we got messages on their Facebook saying, when are you guys coming back to Western Australia? Well, unfortunately, it's just too expensive at the moment to do that. But, working with a booking agent and then, seeing what bands are out there, and I was like got in my mind as well that, I like seeing the younger bands out there to give them a shot, because it's what happened to us when we were younger. You know what I mean? So it's important to not only play with mates of ours and bands who are well known, but also bands like Carthus who are up and coming, bands like Ironstone and all that. Guys who just want to get out there and give them an opportunity. And so it's an ongoing thing. You're looking upon it from a sense of organising, but logistics, and also having it to a point where you also have to delegate some of the tasks out. A lot of bands will tell you that it's not always everybody in the band that does everything. There's always one or two guys who predominantly do everything and, make the shit work, So I'm the guy who's organising rehearsals. For example, we've got a new rig that's coming up, so organising leads, and the leads are too short, so back to the place to get new longer leads made up and all that. And thankfully, my wife is actually very proactive and helps with that too. Lately, Silvio's been really busy with his work, you know what I mean? So I've said, okay, well, if we've got merch sales, and we have had quite a few merch sales, well, then I'm off to Australia posting them, talking with people, liaising with people, then talking with the bookers of the individual venues, input lists, stage plots, technical writers. Then there's booking flights, booking transfer to and from the airport, accommodation, making sure even small things like, for example, if you're booking flights through Virgin, being an APRA member, that you mention your APRA membership so you can get that extra luggage for your gear, you know what I mean? Otherwise, that will sting you. All these things come into it, you know what I mean? So the next week especially is a busy one for me, it's all the guys, but myself, because the guys, it's like, being in between rehearsals and these dates coming up, they're like, okay, yeah, it's all cool, whatever, but they've got times that the family's with. For me, it's been like, okay, Hanny rang me yesterday, then arranging the changeover because Black Majesty couldn't do it, freaking out and contacting other bands as well. They can't make it. I'm like, fuck, okay, all right, no worries. Getting that sorted, then delegating things like to my wife to print up, the guest lists.
Yeah.
The band times that are on stage, the merch list, what we're selling, all these things. It's not it's not a really easy operation, but the thing where I'm lucky with is when it gets to the shows is I've got the guys helping. You know what I mean? I'm lucky. And I've sent out the emails to all the bands basically explaining how I work. I like to have fun. I like to have a laugh. I like to have everybody on time and prompt. If I'm saying to you, loading is at 4 o'clock, don't send me an email like, the day before saying, oh, can we get there at 6 o'clock? Because it's not going to fucking fly with me. It's just not going to happen. 4 o'clock, no exceptions. That's the way it works.
Yep.
So that's how it is. It's busy, but it's good fun. It's stressful, but it's good fun. What I'm looking forward to is just playing to our friends. I'm really looking forward to just meeting up with everybody that we haven't seen for 2 years. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people we haven't seen for 2 years, so it's just going to be good to say good day. It really. I think that's probably the main contributing factor while we're doing this. Some people said to us we're crazy for doing it, especially just soon after the pandemic. We're just like, fuck, let's give it a go. We won't try. It's the third time it's been, rescheduled. Threes, let's do it.
Take it while you can. You're this close now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly between now. Just a random question on that. Now, I don't know how many songs, or if you have, or whatever, but just when it comes to the album Dead Elysium, which is now the album you're touring in support of, a couple of years later, or a year and a half, roughly. Are there any songs from that album you actually have played live already?
No.
So this is all new. Yeah.
So they're fresh. They're fresh with the fuck ups. It's we're playing actually quite a few songs from Dead Elysium because we haven't had a chance to play them live. But we've got some of the oldies thrown in as well. We've got some songs from Embrace the Silence thrown in, some songs from the fourth season, of course, and Distant as the Sun as well thrown in. So we've got a nice little mishmash there, but the primary focus this time is on playing the songs from the Dead Elysium album because nobody's had a chance to see them live, Yeah. In the future, I suppose people want us to play stuff from Tangled in Dream and all that, what have you, but right now, no, Dead Elysium. We're doing a tribute to the album.
You did, you did put a post up on the band page a little while back, just basically asking for what people wanted to see played live. Was there? I mean, what was there a clear top runner for you? But also on top of that, how often were songs from the new album mentioned in that little request pool there?
A lot, but also there was a lot of songs mentioned that I don't think we've ever even played live. Like one of the songs was "Live to Live" from the Embrace the Silence album, which we've never played live.
Wow.
Even somebody wanted us to play, or they were saying, "I'd love to see Vanishing Point play our version of Pink Floyd's On the Turning Away," which we did. Oh man, we did that like,
wow.
I think it was like 2000, like 22 years ago. And we literally, that song, we went into the recording studio back at Palm Studios in Ardea when we recorded and Tangled in Dream album, and we recorded that version like 4 hours. I even had an old clock, like watch that had this button, you press the button, it goes, the time is 3:52. So I pressed it, and that was like, and we went through the microphone and actually ended up on the song. I don't know what time it was, but it was it was. We used the clock on there and all that, and it was just crazy. And that ended up being released on a Pink Floyd tribute album called Signs of Life or something like that in Europe, and it got a really good response back then. But yeah, somebody wanted us to play On the Turning Away. I'm like, well, fuck, I don't even remember how we played that song. So that's cool, I mean, that's us also interacting with the people as well to see what they're like. And we look at these things, so definitely in the future when we get back out there as well, we'll incorporate more of the feedback we get from our friends and fans as to what songs they want. Yeah. We might have to go and relearn some songs we've never played live, but that's a cool thing, I mean, 6 albums in, it's expected.
Yeah, it's pretty part of the course, actually, especially at the point in time that you guys are at. Just on that quickly, I had this actually. It's actually a nice segue because this is a question I haven't asked very often, but it's one I want to ask you. Is that you have got a lot to choose from now? Is there a song from your collection that you have not played live yet, but would love to get the chance to do so?
Yeah, well, it's actually on the Dead Elysium album.
Okay.
No, sorry, it's from the Distance of the Sun album.
Yep.
So this song is actually, we're playing it the first time Thursday night. So
Oh, cool.
there's the scoop for you. It's Let the River Run. We're playing that for the first time on this tour. It's a very emotional song for some of us, especially myself.
Mm.
It's about my dad and his battles. My dad's been passed on about 10 years ago now. So just April 24th is his 10-year anniversary. But it's basically about his battles and how he had a hard time with the drink and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm having a conversation with him, you know. So Let the River Run is quite an emotive song for me, but we're playing that, and it's probably one of my favourites from Distant as the Sun. But I just didn't have the balls to play it for a long time. I just didn't have the courage to play it. So it's an emotional song, but I'm looking forward to finally just going, okay, time to do it.
Yep.
Time to just go for it, give it a shot, and, you know, and just ride it, you know what I mean? Because you can't live in yesterday for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? You have to sometimes do the things you want to do but things that are scary as well. So it's going to be a nice ride. It's going to be a scary ride, but we're going to do it. And that's one thing we've decided. So Let the River Run is in the set list for this whole tour, and I'm looking forward to playing that. Yeah.
Cool. Was there a particular trigger for that, or is it just something that happened organically, or how did that decision come about?
I just felt within my mind, looking upon the time that my dad's gone now, that it was probably time to let that go. You know what I mean? It was time to not grow up or anything like that, not to just go, oh man, I've got to impart this emotion with the crowd or anything like that. It's first and foremost for me from a selfish perspective, you know, to just go, it's a really good song, and a lot of people have asked about it in the past, but I was always avoiding them questions.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, I'm not going to avoid this anymore. I think the time is right to do it, you know what I mean? And it's maybe just purely selfish, but I think from a mental perspective, I think it's time to just let it do it. Look, you know, let it go, let it do it. So we're looking forward to that, you know, and there's some other songs in there, you know, that of course are some crowd favourites, and there's some songs like we're playing also If Only I from the Embrace of Silence album, which we haven't played in, I think, 17 years or something like that, you know what I mean? You know, so let's put it in there. So it's and that sounds good with the new lineup as well. So I mean, and that's the thing too. Actually, dare I say, not changing the subject, but jumping to another subject about this tour is, it's the first time we're going to have Damien and Gaston playing with us live, because they've been in the band for 2.5 years.
That's right.
You know. So it's a chance for us to also, Vanishing Point, to introduce the new members who have been in the band for 2.5 years, but introduce new members to the crowd out there. So, it's a strange thing.
I had that, like, a little niggle in the back of my head about that, but I didn't realise that was actually, that's remarkable to think about too. So it's the album, the members, like the whole thing is almost, it's almost like that you know, Phoenix rebirth kind of thing for a moment. They're like not too deep into it, but it's an interesting little fresh start all around. Does that
we've been through some interesting times as a band. I mean, there's definitely times in the past I think that a lot of people thought we're dead and buried. You know what I mean? But when we were quiet for a reason, because we just, I think that the band's done probably more social media activity in the last probably 2 weeks than it's had done for its whole life. You know what I mean? Because we're not really, you know, oh, look at us, you know, we're out here having a barbecue, or, you know, hey, I'm at the shopping centre buying a litre of milk, lol, you know, check out Vanishing. You know, we don't like that, you know what I mean? It's just like, we've got our private lives and we like to keep them private. You know, for what we do on our personal Facebook pages, whatever, that's beside the point. You know, I can say that because I'm actually always posting shit on there, but
fun.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's an interesting thing how everything's working now, because, you know, through what we've been through, all over the years, member changes and, record label changes and all that type of stuff, and Silvio being crook and all that, and they're having two members, newer members. I'm not going to say new members because the crowd hasn't seen them yet, but newer members who have been with the band for 2.5 years and not having a chance to play live because of the pandemic. It's a strange mishmash that, that if I had time to think about all these processes, I reckon I would have gone insane. I mean, I'm already bald, so there's no chance of losing any more hair, but I literally would just gone nuts and like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? But we don't think about it too much. We just go for it and play. Like we approach our songs. We don't sit there and say, okay, well, the next album's got to have, 4 or 5, speed metal songs and 2 ballads and, top 10 hard rock songs, Triple M or somebody fucking's going to play. They're not going to play. So we just do what we do. And at the end of the day, if the song is good, the song is good. And first and foremost, if we like it, we like it. That's great.
Yeah.
If people like it, even better. If they don't, well, that's okay.
You've been pretty consistent across the board with your albums as well. Like you've grown and evolved and changed with new lineups and all sorts of stuff as well. But I think for me, out of the ones I've heard from you guys, Dead Elysium is probably my favorite. I'm not going to ask you to pick a favorite kind of thing, but do you feel, because I looked it up, like the band is getting close sort of 30 years as a band now. I mean, your debut album, In Thought, is 25 years old this year. Yeah. So, you're going back a fair way here. What do you think has been the biggest, not the lesson learned, but sort of the biggest, is that whole thing where, we were talking earlier about, age and giving less fucks as you get older and all that kind of stuff too, but the whole, the go for it approach, so just whatever happens, is that sort of different now to what it used to be? And how much has that sort of impacted on things as the years have gone by?
Oh, that's a good question. Basically, when we were younger and single, we didn't have families, it was more a case like, we're going to Europe. We're going. I mean, I remember 2001, I went to Europe with, I think, about $600 in my wallet, and I was going to Europe for 4.5 months. Who the fuck does this? You know what I mean? But I did it, I wired some money when I was over there because I was pretty stuffed up. But I mean, we did the Gamma Ray tour. We just went for it, and then we had opportunities after 2001 to actually relocate to Europe. There was a lot of talk about us relocating, but some of the guys already had partners there and they were getting really serious, so that didn't eventuate. With that being said, I met my wife in 2002, so it was okay, and things have turned out great. But we still are very serious about what we do to a degree. I mean, like, we enjoy creating songs, but we still like having fun. You know what I mean? Like, we take ourselves seriously, but not seriously to the point where we're a full-time business, because we're not. Because we all have day jobs, we'll have families, we'll have bills to pay. But when it comes to the music and playing, we always try to progress and push a little bit with Vanishing Point, but it's not ever been a conscious thing that we have to change our sound or anything like that. It's always been, hey, let's make good songs, and if people dig them, we've got a great vocalist in Silvio, and he's actually really easy to write for. Like, I've got to say, as a songwriter, he's the easiest guy I've ever found writing for. So I'm lucky in that sense. I'm lucky in the sense too that I'm playing with a bunch of guys who are relatively open-minded, and they've got the balls to say to me, Chris, that idea is really cool, that's shit. You know what I mean? Yep. That's fine. You know what I mean? And I think that is what's important after all these years. And I've learned that, when we were younger, we were fucking like driven, and there was a bit of ego involved. Now, man, I mean, like, I'm turning 51 in August, man. There's no ego. I'm just out there to have fun. You know what I mean? I'm not a fighter. I'm a fucking hugger, mate. You know what I mean? So if somebody pisses me off, I'll tell them, you know what I mean? But, it's more or less a case of just getting out there and having fun. And I don't know how we've done it for so long. I think that because we haven't been consciously thinking about it.
Yep.
And we haven't consciously let ourselves be let down by the opportunities that we've had and the opportunities that have gone. We've just gone with the flow. I mean, look, between Distant as the Sun to Dead Elysium, there was 7-year gap. You know what I mean? We had Silvio in the studio and both his parents passed. We had Silvio, sick in hospital. also his parents had passed on, and that was a crazy time. Normally a band like that would just go, that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
But we already had the album virtually finished. We had the album finished since, 2017. No, sorry. Album was finished 2018.
Wow.
Because we were waiting on Silvio to finish off vocals for a couple of songs, we had to wait. And then eventually, truth be known, Andrew, is we released the album one song short. So there's still one song out there where the music's been recorded.
Wow.
But Silvio didn't get a chance to sing that song because he ended up being sick. So the last song he did in the studio was Free, which was live. But truth be known, he really gave that his all in the studio. I was there witnessing it, and he was going for it, man. And he didn't blow his voice out then, but I think that probably was like whatever was going on with him probably led him to go into hospital as well.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate. We captured an amazing vocal experience, vocal moment there, which is immortalised in the album for people to hear. But yeah, like looking back on it, it's like maybe we pushed a little bit too hard, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? We're lucky that things have worked out how they have. I mean, I've been in the band now going on, I joined in 97. So after In Thought originally was released, I joined the band. And then I wrote In a Piece with the band, and then the album was re-released, and then we did Tangled in Dream, and that was released in 2000. So, yeah, it's 25 years now. And I've loved every minute of it, don't get me wrong. Amongst all the pain, the heartache and the sweat and the blood and the tears and, being broke, whatever, I've loved every moment of it, and I plan on keep on doing it. I enjoy it. It's what I do. It's what we do. We have,
That's cool. Well, on that, because I know that you've been busy behind the scenes during lockdowns and everything else writing away, we were talking before, you got a fair bit sort of already underway for more to come in the future. So how is the writing going at the moment? I know there's a lot of songs sort of sitting there kicking around. So how is that going? And what's, obviously it's a very different time to write, or it has been the last couple of years anyway in particular. So how has that felt, and what do you think has been any sort of, not to quote unquote shift, but just the differences in how you've done it this time versus, the way you've done it before? What that whole process over the last couple of years and how much has come out of it?
It wasn't so much, sorry, just clear my voice. It wasn't so much of a different way of doing things. It was more or less the opportunity to do more because of lockdown. So, like I write a lot of music here at home, which funnily enough, I haven't written much in the last 2 months. But that's okay because I'm slowly getting a lot of ideas in my head. And I know when the tour finishes, I'll probably just like lock myself in my room for like a month, not a month, a week or so, and I'll do stuff. But during the pandemic, there was a lot of ideas coming on. And I actually share a lot of my ideas just with my Instagram, friends and, fans out there and stuff like that. Some of them sound cool, some of them sound shit, but it's more or less like I found that if I didn't do something at that time, and I would have been watching Netflix all the time, would have driven me batshit crazy. So did a lot of music with the guys as well. Like, we were doing Zoom calls and stuff like that. So there was always a communication about, okay, hey, these are the ideas I've got here. What do you guys reckon? So because we were all at home, we had time to, have a listen to the tunes and like really delve into them. We've never been overly analytical about our music. Like it should have this, section here and it's got to have, this type of crescendo and all that bullshit. It's not like that. If the song flows, it flows. We do have some progressive elements in our music, but I wouldn't necessarily call us a prog band. I just call ourselves like a melodic metal band with some symphonic prog elements. But basically, during that lockdown period, it gave me an opportunity to write a lot. And I think Silvio disagrees with me. He reckons I've only got an album and a half's worth of material. I reckon we've got close to about 3 albums worth of material. I mean, it's just stupid when you think about it. I mean, there's 3 albums worth of material, but it's a good thing to fall back on in case we have writers like it's like, well, there's a tune here. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm lucky where rarely get writer's block. You know what I mean? I don't sit there consciously also saying that I'm going to write a song today.
Yeah.
Like some tunes I come up with could take, a couple of weeks from in pre-production mode, from the intro to the end of the song and all the stuff going on and me writing the orchestration, whatever. It could take 2 weeks. And sometimes it might take overnight. Like the song on Dead Elysium, The Fall, I wrote that overnight. It was about 3.5 hours of work. Whereas Salvis came out from me starting off just with a riff, working with a little guitar plug, and I was just going dun, 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 dun. It was just like, okay, this vibe's going in. Next thing, Salvis emerged, and I sent it to the guys honestly as a piss tape. I thought none of them were going to like it. I thought they were going to go, what shit is this? But everybody got back to me, they said they should have liked it. I'm like, okay, well, we'll put it on the album, why not? People like it, so hey, cool, It's, music's a beautiful thing. As a songwriter and musician, I love the journey that I have with it. That I don't know where I'm gonna go with it. I just go with the flow, and it's always been that case.
Have you had any songs? Being a prolific writer, obviously not everything goes through all the way, but I've always found that even when I was writing myself, that you'd have something you'd get halfway through, whatever else, or 90% done or 10% done, and then you'd pick it up a month later, a year later, a decade later, and you'd go and finish it off then. Has there been any sort of songs that jump to mind for you that have, been those really long-term ones where you've started somewhere and then for some reason it's clicked all this time later and gone, actually, this would work well, or even just a moment of a song? Is there anything like, I hope that makes sense, the question I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming. Yeah, actually, not really that much, but there was one exception. So basically on the Dead Elysium album, I'm just trying to think the name of the song. Actually, it was Free. So Free, I originally had it as bullshit, crappy, possible Japanese bonus track song. Right? That was the name of the file.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're looking at the songs, for the Dead Elysium album, and we got recording in the studio, and we thought, okay, this is going to be cool to record for a Japanese bonus. So we started recording it. And, of course, the Japanese release didn't happen because of COVID. But then when we were in the studio, it just wasn't gelling. So it was that old song that was creeping in. But then we did a lot of work and changed in the studio and worked it a bit. And it's actually the dark horse for me. You know what I mean? It's like the song that I've just gone, oh, man, that's come out way better and way differently from what I imagined, And Silvio's got this saying. He will always say, no song is finished until it's recorded on the album, which is true. Because, there's been times where I've, presented the song to the guys, and the other guys have put some ideas forward as well. And it's like, man, no matter how much work you put into it, like there could be this whole orchestration, whole orchestral section, which just sounds just magnificent in my head. And they go, it's a bit shit. And you're just like, oh, fuck. But it makes sense, though, because at the end, you listen to it and you just go, man, that's a good song. You know what I mean? And I'm not one of them guys who will sit there and listen to my album after it's recorded. I'm one of them that's done next. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and overanalyze what could have been better about it. I know there's a lot of musicians out there who maybe do that, but for me, it's just like, always look upon going forward. And I think that's probably helped me as a songwriter and musician doing what I do for so long. I'm not going to sit there talking yesterday, but Free was one of them songs for sure that had that. It was sitting there in the vault for about 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
Before I went to the Dead Elysium album.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. You've mentioned Japan a few times, and you were scheduled to go there. Obviously, the world had other plans. Is that obviously you had a great, like the footage in that from when you went over there last time around? It obviously was a blast and was a great show, and all that sort of stuff was there. How much would you like to get back there? And is there, I guess, another two facets to that question is, what's sort of the highlight been to date? And then is there anywhere you'd like to go you haven't gone yet?
Sure. Japan is amazing. Any band that tells you when they've been to Japan will tell you the same thing. It's amazing. The people there are very hospitable. It's a beautiful country. Everything works there. We were very lucky that when we flew into Japan, our first show was in Hiroshima, which is a show that's on the video. We didn't even know there was going to be a video crew there. You know, we didn't know there was going to be a video crew recording that gig. We were just like, oh, no. But a lot of people have enjoyed that video with all its imperfections and all that, and us trying to speak to the crowd, especially myself speaking to the crowd, thinking I'm saying thank you, but I'm actually saying oishi, which actually means delicious or something like that, which is just so but, hey, it's okay. That is the imperfections of the band. But so we had a really good time in Japan. The people were amazing. We sold out Tokyo, our first show at Tokyo, the club there. We sold that out, which is awesome. We played, so that tour we played in Hiroshima, Nagoya, Fuji, Osaka, I think it was, and then Tokyo. Wow. And, Hiroshima as well. So it was an amazing tour, and like I got to see Mount Fuji from a distance, and I got to ride in the fast train. So the geeky part of me was just like sitting there going, "Oh, this is awesome!" I'm looking at the speed limit of the train; it's like traveling at 375 kilometers an hour, and everything is so smooth. And I'm looking at all the different, little towns and the prefectures, how they grow their vegetables, how everything's just like perfectly aligned. I'm just going, "Oh man, this is amazing!" And that's how their approach is towards bands touring there as well. Everything is thorough. Wow. The shows are early. Like, it's normal that we go on stage around about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and by 8:30 we're finished. And then after that, it's like, come party, let's go have beers. And if they the promoters want to take you to all the restaurants there. And what's meant to be an early night ends up being a late night, and you normally get sleep on the fast train, on the bullet train the next day. But Japan's amazing. Love to go back there. And it's only like a 10-hour flight from Melbourne anyway. Places I'd like to play. We've played a lot of Europe, I suppose, probably from, a nostalgic perspective for myself, being from Polish migrants who came to Australia many years ago in the early 60s. I'd love to play Poland one day. We've been close to doing that several times in the past, but just never happened. So that would be nice because I've got a lot of family there. Yep. I've heard South America's amazing.
Okay.
I'd love to get back to America. We played Prog Power there, and that was an amazing experience. So, look, we've played a lot of places, and I think we've had a lot of great experiences from every one of them. So we'd love to, revisit those places in the future. We'll see what happens. It depends. The whole world could end up having another pandemic. Who knows? But what we're doing right now, we're taking it one day at a time and letting perspective kick in and just being grateful for what we have. And we're grateful that we've got the tour coming up. And, and if everything smooths out in the future and we can go overseas again, we'll be keen to do that. As long as finances allow and there's interest for us to go there, we're on it. We'd love to do it.
Beautiful. Well, from old, let's go to something more new. And you got a new bunch of merch that you have. You've mentioned it before, but you've been plugging that a bit as well. So what's on offer for those that want to chip in and if they do see you or they can't go and see you now, if that's one way they can support you as well? What sort of merch is on offer now, you guys?
Well, I'm actually, this is a scoop. I'm bringing out my first and foremost Chris Porchenko anti-coriander cookbook. It's where every recipe you fucking just napalm the coriander with like a fireplace or petrol. I reckon people had a bullshit I can come up with on the spot. It's amazing. So we've got a couple new shirts coming out, or we're actually already out there. So we've had the Red Phoenix, which is quite symbolic with the band, for a long time. So that was a really good seller previously. So we repressed that. We've got another shirt which has got a whole lot of elements on it, which looks really cool. We've got our first Vanishing Point beanies. We've got our first Vanishing Point patches. Because everybody wants to have their battle jackets now. You know what I mean? It's like all the old dudes, it's like, getting out the battle jacket that's, the patch jacket, which has got the old accept, back patch on it and stuff like that. And they go, well, why don't you guys have the back patch or something and then a little Vanishing Point patch? I thought, fuck it, we'll get them made. And they're selling really well. I was like, cool. You know what I mean? So I might even get myself a back patch a jacket one day just to put the Vanishing Point patch on. No others, but just the Vanishing Point patch. You know? Just to go against the grain. You know.
Yeah.
Might have an anti-coriander thing on there as well.
I'd say you got to have someone that's going to just say "fuck coriander," like.
Oh, look, man. If we ever go back to America. Because there's people over there. I'm convinced if we get the opportunity to play Prog Power again in the future, I'm sure those wicked bastards over there are going to throw bouquets of fucking cilantro / coriander onto the stage when I'm playing. I'm convinced, right? Because one of my friends in America said that to me. He goes, you've opened up a whole, so. But it's all in good taste. But and we got also a new hoodie. Sorry,
well, not so much for you.
Oh man, look, as I said to you before, like I love taking the piss out of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, the whole anti-coriander thing has been now floating for about 4 years.
It's got a life of its own.
Yeah, it has. Oh yeah. I mean, and people know if they've got like pictures on there, you know what I mean, and they're cooking something and I'll see the picture and I'll just go, what is that green shit? You know what I mean? And they're just like, I knew you were going to jump on here. It's like I'm trolling them. But then I put a picture of a pizza that I made because, as I said to you previously, like I did this social media experiment. I'm thinking like, X amount of people are seeing the band post and me posting about Vanishing Point.
Yeah.
That's not reaching that many people. People know about it, but not as many as I thought it would be. Yeah. But fuck it. Post a picture of a pizza that you've made.
Yep.
And it goes viral. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. And it's a pizza that I've made with pita bread. Of course, some people are right. I'm waiting for the coriander comment in 3, 2, 1. And it always happens. But yeah, so in terms of merch, we've got that new hoodie there.
Yep.
And I've got a couple of ideas for some new merch, new shirts in the future. There's a couple of them are tongue-in-cheek with the VP logo, which I think would be good. So I can't let them out of the bag yet, though.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking.
Well, keen to see much more from that side of you guys. Now that it must be sort of exciting, but also a bit of a relief to have the whole cycle going. And so you got the album, which has obviously been out, but now you can go on tour. You got merch kicking over again. Does it feel like the gears are turning and that whole thing's getting on?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like it's gaining a little bit of momentum. For the small scale that we are, it definitely feels like it's gaining momentum. It's feeling like things are happening a little bit again. You know what I mean? Yeah. In terms of like overseas interests or anything like that, or speaking with a record company, we haven't spoken in a long time. But just on a local front in Australia, it just feels like, okay, with this small tour that we're doing, it's getting things going. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, look, I really don't care if Vanishing Point doesn't play the festivals, big festivals here anymore. I really don't care. When I was younger, I was like, oh, shit, it would have been great to get on there. But now it's more or less, it's more of a thing that just getting out there, having fun and playing and connecting with our friends, you know what I mean? Because we're at that age. So it feels, on a local perspective, that things are stepped up a little bit, which is a good feeling because as any musician will tell you, the hardest thing is about losing momentum. And of course, because we had album, how could you say we lost a bit of momentum between the 2 album releases, 7-year wait. Slowly catching up on things. And then effectively it was actually a 9-year wait before we could play live. But it happens.
Yep. Let's go to some fun sort of areas here. This is a different one that you've got some interesting promo stuff on your social. So there's the video about you playing to the toilets of the nation or whatever. I forget the actual direct quote you put in there. Now, that's a relatively new phenomenon. There's the video side of things, is that a new thing? Who's responsible for that kind of stuff for you? I did go through your page.
That is just honestly spontaneous bullshit. When the phone is on, that's spontaneous horse shit that comes out of my mouth. If you look at Silvio's reaction on his face, he's just like, that's what's expected from me, I suppose.
Yeah.
But honestly, none of it's scripted.
Yeah.
None of it. It's just pure stupidity, spontaneous horse shit.
Mhm.
And my whole motto is as well, is always it's been, especially when it comes to social media, if you're laughing with me, great. If you aren't laughing at me, great, because at least you're laughing. At least it's putting a smile on your dial, because, you know, life doesn't have to be so mundane and boring all the time, negative. So, you know, I just love doing stupid shit like that. But, yeah, no, that's just typical, mate. It's typical stupidity. And even my wife sometimes just goes, what? Even at home, sometimes with some of the shit I say to him, I just go, what?
Yep. I think that's a lot of wives to their husbands. I know that I'm included in that bracket, so that's definitely.
Man, my wife sees me play live. Like when Simone sees me play live, and she sees I'm headbanging on stage like an idiot, she's just going, "Oh man, tomorrow morning he's going to be complaining, and, you know, I'm going to be taking Eurofins and all that, and then I'll be making jokes. Of course, people saying, "What endorsements are you with?" I'm seeking an endorsement with a Eurofin. It's situational, man. I mean, there's never a mundane moment, but we like to have fun. If we were not having fun and not enjoying what we do, we would not be doing it. You know what I mean? It's especially the amount of money that we've lost doing this over the years, that we've spent, the amount of times we've been ripped off. We've also in the past made some very good money as well, but more been ripped off than made good money. That's normal for any band, but any band will tell you at the end of the day, you do it because you enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's just good fun. I mean, I feel blessed as a musician that I've got this opportunity to play this music and people enjoy it. I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? I can't complain, man. Life's pretty good.
Cool. Just to change tack, something I'd like to get out of you is, what is a all-time classic album you go to, just to have something to put on? What's that album that, you know, you walk into your collection, the first one you're going to reach for? What is that one?
That's a really hard question, because I listen to a lot of genres of music. I love metal. I mean, if anybody said to me, okay, what's your favorite heavy metal band? I'm like, well, how long's a piece of string? You know what I mean? It's everything from Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, Scorpions, Blackout, Dokken, you know, Tooth and Nail, to Back for the Attack, then to death metal. You know, Emperor, you know, Non-Equilibrium album, then something from Opeth and At the Gates, Door of the Soul, then to something like Tori Amos. I love a lot of different styles, but there's one CD that I love listening to, is basically Yanni Live the Acropolis. That's probably one of my favourite albums.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an instrumental album. It's live. It's a great album. Yeah, that's like, it's a good ride of it's a good wave ride of emotions there with what he's playing. I love that stuff. Yeah, but I listen to everything from Celtic music to, sometimes it's a good pop song, I'll enjoy it, and classical music to metal, death metal, prog metal, black metal, whatever. If it's good, it's good. You know, I enjoy it.
And you were talking earlier on about, you know, it's good to help out the circle thing, where now you're the older band and you're trying to put the newer bands on and give them a bit of a push and stuff. Is there any sort of new discovery you've made over the last whatever period of time, especially the last couple of years, I guess, when you've had a bit more time on your hands? But what is there something, you know, a new discovery that sort of really leaped out at you? Doesn't matter how big or small the band is, but just sort of something.
Local or international?
Let's go one of each.
Okay, sure. So the one band that I've actually really enjoyed listening to recently was a band that is actually playing with us in Queensland. It's A Stranger. I like their stuff. Seraphic, who in Queensland as well, I like their stuff. And, of course, Ironstone. I dig what they do. Cool. There's a lot of bands. I mean, there's, I think, Freedom or Fear or something like that, or Freedom of Fear from, I think they're from South Australia. I dig what they're doing as well. There's a lot of cool bands out there doing stuff, you know what I mean? I enjoy that stuff. The stuff that's in overseas, I suppose one band that I've liked listening to of late has been a band from America called Seven Spies. They're really cool. They got that the vocalist Adrian Cowan, who also sang with Avantasia.
Yes. Yep.
Her voice is amazing, and it's really diverse. So she's got an awesome range, but then she can do these full-on shrieks as well, like that are just demon-like. And the music really backs it up, and it's quirky in some parts too. I like that. Another band that I've been listening to that one of my friends introduced me to, and they're just bizarre to the point of being a total head fuck, is a band called Igor.
Okay.
Yeah, they're weird. Like, we were driving back from Eden one day, a long 7-hour trip, 8-hour trip. And my mate put it on. He goes, check this out. And I swear to God, I reckon, and I'm not a drug taker, I hate drugs, but if I had taken mushrooms and I was listening to the Igor album, I probably would have jumped out of the sunroof and probably jumped out of the car at 100k an hour. It's insane. It goes from like folk music to like techno, black metal, death metal, and then Oompa Loompa type of music, you can hear the accordion in there, and then you can hear a singer just going full on burqa, and it really fucks with your senses as a listener. You're just going, so anybody who really wants to be like spun out, and please don't blame me if you hate it, but there's this band called Igor. There's something else. I don't know what to make out of it yet. It's just so bizarre, but I'm intrigued. I reckon if they ever come to Australia, I'll definitely go and see them.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll probably just be so intrigued that I'll probably just go, "Oh, what am I thinking? But I reckon they're really cool. They're interesting. The other band that I like from overseas, which a lot of people know of, is Winter Sun. I'm hoping they bring out another album, soon. I've always liked their music. The Time One album, I love that album. It was very, I suppose, it was a really awesome ride. You know what I mean? Musically, and I really enjoy that stuff, and it had a lot of cool elements to it. So I'm looking forward to the new Winter Sun. I'm looking forward to checking out the new Evergrey soon as well. There's some cool stuff out there, and it's good that post-pandemic now, or we're saying post-pandemic because who really knows, but there seems to be this window at the moment where it's giving a chance for bands to get out there and tour or release their music. You know what I mean? It's a good thing. Yeah.
It does definitely feel like the industry itself is getting more back to its level pegging, I guess, or at least it's worked out how to work within the constraints of everything going on at the moment.
Yeah, we're trying to. I think the fact of the matter is that it's trying to. That's the main thing. That's good. You know what I mean? It's not defeated as yet. You know what I mean? So, and hopefully we're making that turnaround from the dark side of it. We're good at making a U-turn now and going towards more positive scenery, more or less. Time will tell. Time will tell. All I can say is to the people out there, you know what I mean? Like, if you dig what we do, come out to the gigs, because we probably won't be playing for another 6 to 7 months, because after this tour, we go back into pre-production for the album. So, come out and come and say good day. Love to see you.
Well, just on that, before we get on out of here, is there anything else on top of that you'd like to say to your fans?
Yeah, man, we've been talking so long that my computer has got 5% battery life, you fuck.
We're as bad as each other, man.
And we're going, what? Yeah, 5%. No. What do I want to say to the people out there? Oh, man, there's so many things I could say. I suppose, thank you very much for sticking with us. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for enjoying what we do, and to the people like yourselves also in independent media. You know what I mean? Thank you for sticking by us as well, because without you guys, we're nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you guys, I've always enjoyed watching you guys on Channel 31, and I always tune into you also your live stuff as well. And it's great because you're representing a diverse range of music out there, including ourselves. So we are grateful for what you guys do. And to the people out there who support us and buy our merch, buy our music, or even take a moment to check our stuff out on Spotify, as much as I'm not really a Spotify fan. Hey, I'm grateful for that. Thank you very much. That's all I can say, man. We're still here doing this.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of people saying, well, thank you for putting out the good music and thank you for continuing on when it could have been so easy to call it a day so long ago over the years as well. So
thanks. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to the tour. Hope it all goes well. So make sure you check them out. So it's Vanishing Point, May 19, Suki Lounge in Belgrave. May 20, Stay Gold, Melbourne or Brunswick. May 21, Enigma Bar, Adelaide. May 28, The Bright Side in Brisbane. June 3, The Basement in Canberra. June 4, Crowbar in Sydney. And there's a lot of dates there. Go and get your tickets. Make sure you get in on it. Don't miss this chance because, as Chris said, they don't do this very often and it's been a while between drinks. So make sure you get out there this time around and go and check them out.
After this tour, man, I'm off to the physio.
Yeah. We were talking about that before as well. So that's probably going to be a thing for us both at some point. Genuinely, all the best. I hope it's an absolutely roaring success and that you have as much fun as you're hoping to have on the tour
Absolutely.
as well. And anything we can do in the future, let us know. But otherwise, all the best with it. And we look forward to new music in the future as well.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Much appreciated, mate. And thank you for all the listeners for their support. Thank you.
No worries.